And Linda's like, I don't care what you guys are talking about.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Well, it's season 1, episode 9. So it aired in March of 2010. So it's already it's 12 years old now.
A relic.
Yeah, it is by today's standards. But Dan Harmon was the creator behind the series. And it's about a bunch of characters that wind up at a community college, and then they kind of form a study group, and then they interact with each other. And the side characters are pretty funny. The dean is insane. And
what network?
Well, you can watch it now on Prime Video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, we don't. I always like talking to you because you are network TV channel grid.
No, because
you're one
that's
of the
where
few
my shows are
people.
that I like.
It's on Prime Video.
Okay.
So you can watch any episode anytime you want. It was originally on NBC.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to know. You know, there are people when you say, "What time is it?" And they tell you how to build a clock. I only want to know what time. I don't care for all that other. You could have cut to the NBC right away. There you go.
Well, it's not on NBC anymore. It hadn't been on for
that's all right.
10 years or 8 years
that's
or whatever.
Okay.
So, but anyway, Allison Brie, Yvette Nicole Brown, Danny Pudi, Jillian Jacobs, Joel McHale, Allison Brie, Donald Glover, King Jong, and Chevy Chase. Those were the main reoccurring characters.
Had a big incentive, really not liked being a doctor as opposed to being a comedian actor.
I don't know. I think he maintains his
license.
License, but
as hard as it is to get it, you better maintain it.
But he's been in a bunch of stuff. But he kind of becomes a reoccurring character throughout. But he is the Spanish teacher in the first 2 seasons of Community. Yeah, so if you know Kim Jong, the characters he's portrayed, he is the Spanish teacher at the community college. So it's a good series. Anyway, how are you doing today?
It's Friday. I'm wonderful. It's humid out there.
It is.
I got to finish mowing my yard. I started last night and I ran out of daylight.
Hey, I have good news. We've seen the stories in the news about in like New York City, Spam is locked up in some places, New York City.
All right.
Lana was at the grocery store here in town. Spam is not locked up. You can buy Spam. You don't have to get permission. You don't have to get help to get it. It's available just like any other food product at the grocery store.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. But if you go to New York City, you have to get somebody to help you to unlock the cabinet to get to the Spam.
Why?
People are stealing it.
Why?
I don't know.
Who would steal Spam?
I don't know.
I think I tasted it one time 100 years ago. That was it.
Yeah.
Haven't had it since. Don't care.
Yeah. Well, they were going to have...
I don't care how cute the commercials are.
Right. We were talking about something at the fair that they were going to make with Spam. And we didn't get to do the morning show out there for a couple of days. I think I was going to get a breakfast sandwich with Spam. But and then they told me they had the Spam. They bought the Spam for the deal. But then we had the technical issues and we wound up not doing the morning show out there last week. So I don't know, but I think
you got to be pretty desperate if you're stealing Spam.
I would think so. That's kind of.
I mean, tuna is probably not too far from it in a can, or roast beef, or anything else. I bet it's on the same aisle.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Lana's mother is not a fan of Spam. Doesn't like it, doesn't want to cook it, doesn't want to have it cooked, doesn't want to smell it being cooked, doesn't want to smell it on a plane. So I think Lana bought some. Just for
grins or torture or whatever?
Yeah. Yep, she bought some just to irritate Eunice. So we'll see. Maybe Eunice will make something with the Spam.
Could be a brick or something to throw at somebody, or it's probably like a Twinkies. It never rots or something.
This is true. Yeah. You watch any of those videos or movies where it's post apocalyptic world.
Jeez, yes.
Yeah, and they wind up busting into convenience store or an old grocery store or something like that, and what's the first thing they grab that they can still eat?
Spam.
Twinkies.
Oh, Twinkies. Yeah, because they don't, which makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Why? What's in it that's not?
That's right.
But that's with a lot of foods anymore, because I know when the kids were little, of course, everybody in this part of the country buys tortillas.
Mm-hmm.
You buy flour tortillas, you leave them out 3 days, you got penicillin. Nowadays you leave them out. I had a little package of street taco size tortillas that were flour, and I didn't eat them. And they were laying there on the counter, and then they continued. I thought, okay, let's see how long you last.
Yeah.
Well, about 6 months later, I got tired of looking at that package and finally threw them away. And they didn't have anything on them, and they didn't smell totally bad either.
Really?
Like old or stale. But they weren't growing anything.
Huh.
And I'm thinking, and I'm eating you, why? How come you're not molding or
what's
growing something?
And these are fresh made. These aren't.
Yeah, these are, you go to the store, they're in a bag, and they supposedly have an expiration date,
Yeah. Of course, you
Well,
remember the goofy question, why does sour cream have an expiration date?
It's already rotten.
it's
Yeah.
Yeah. Something else that
Like
is
buttermilk.
yeah, exactly. Well, something else is kind of screwy too, because you've got everybody tells us we're not supposed to eat meat. It's bad. Animals, the planet. The whole thing.
Oh,
we need to get away from that. And so there's a company called they make this Impossible fake meat burgers that they try to sell to fast food chains and stuff like that. And I've had people say, and I've read that the ingredients that they use to make that, you'd be better off, Joe, and just going out and having a hamburger, or just going out and having a piece of steak or something like that.
Yeah, because you talk artificial stuff and chemicals and things that your body is not supposed to be processing or attempting to process.
Right.
And may not, and no telling what it's. And we don't question that.
No.
In a sense like you do, what's in the vaccine? What's it doing to us? Well, here's fake meat and fake God knows what else. And do we question what's in that and what's it doing to our system and our bodies? No, we eat it. Oh, hey, it's fake. It's not the real thing. It's not, beef off the hoof. So let's eat it.
Right.
Well, really?
So
maybe you ought to be more interested in what you're putting in your system.
That's right. So according to this, what's in the fake meat is water, soy protein concentrate, coconut oil, sunflower oil, natural flavors, 2% or less of potato protein, methyl cellulose.
There's one of those things that we should question, whatever it is.
Yeast extract, cultured dextrose, food starch modified, soy ligomoglobin.
Yeah, if you can't pronounce it, you really need to investigate it.
Salt, mixed tocopherols.
That doesn't sound
Tocopherols, soy protein isolate, vitamins and minerals, including zinc gluconate, thiamine hydrochloride, niacin, pyridoxine hydrochloride, and riboflavin.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
I'd rather have go have a real hunk of meat.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, just look at kids these days and how early they are maturing because of all of the growth hormones and the chemicals that has been put in our food for so many years.
Right.
That didn't happen when I was a kid. Everybody was still looked like kids for, quite some time. And maybe they're 20, early 20s or their late teens or whatever. Nowadays, you look at a 12-year-old and you think, oh, she must be 21. Well, no.
Yeah. Impossible Foods claims its production process generates way less greenhouse gases than cattle farming. So that's why you should eat the fake meat.
But there's been gases around like that, methane gases, for how many bazillion years? Do you think the dinosaurs did not
I know.
emit
Or the herds
gas.
of buffalo, or the
Yes.
other animals that roamed the countryside.
Everything.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about climate change back then. We had other issues. According to Jacqueline London, MSRD CDN, nutrition director at the Good Housekeeping Institute, it's not a universally better choice no matter what the buzzword is that's attached to the name. Plant-based protein that's used to create something new and therefore highly processed is susceptible to being loaded with sodium and saturated fat.
Yeah, if you start reading the sodium contents on these things, oh my God, it's a wonder it's not killing all of us.
Yeah, so it's, is it healthy? Compared to the same size beef patty, the burger contains a comparable amount of calories, 240 to 260, but scores lower in a few regards. The first is that it contains way less protein, 19 grams versus 28,
Yeah.
which may make it less filling. The bigger downside is that it also is 2 grams higher in saturated fat. And so anybody that's
it's
talked
not
to their
good
doctor
for you.
about cholesterol and all this other kind of stuff, coconut oil contains the highest saturated fat content of any plant-based oil despite its super health halo. Also contains more sodium. 15% of your recommended value compared to just 4% for plain beef. So,
Doesn't sound like it's too good for you.
The bottom line, if you love burgers and you're opting in on the Impossible Burger because it's plant-based, seems like the healthier alternative. I'd rather you go with the regular burger and enjoy every bite, says Dr. London. The best option if you're cutting back on meat for sustainability's sake would be to halve the amount of meat you're using in the burger and fill the rest with veggies like mushrooms. So, if you really want to save the planet,
Yeah.
just
If you really
eat a little
want
less
to
meat and
save the ranchers and the farmers, you better start thinking about what you're doing.
yeah. Well, now, if that's your whole motivation for doing this, then you're crazy. If you think we got to get rid of the farmers, we got to get rid of the
I said
ranchers.
save.
No, but if you're thinking that I'm going to eat
Oh.
Impossible Burgers because we need to kill the cattle industry and we need to stop doing what we're doing with cows and methane and the earth and global warming and all that kind of stuff, then you're crazy. Now, if you think if it's better for you because you can't eat meat or you've got other health related issues that are important to you, well, that's fine. But don't tell us that we have to do that because we have to save the planet.
But guess what? Your food doesn't come from behind that wall in the cooler in Walmart.
No, it comes from a 3D printer over in the back of the back room there.
No, you need to figure this out.
This is KSVP Artesia, and we're going to get our printer going here.
From Town Hall